Good morning. Have you had breakfast yet? Or perhaps you're about to. In which case, eet smakelijk. Bon appetit. Of course, different people will like different things for their breakfast. If they're a breakfast person, of course. Some people are going to be really into cereal. Exhibit A. Oops, product placement there. Whilst others will like something else to have. I'm one of those people. I'm not really a great cereal fan. Quite often I'll have a boiled egg. Sometimes a little orange. More often than not, I really like to have a banana. This is one of my favourite things to eat. And I'll have some homemade bread. Though this one right now wouldn't be so good to eat. It's just out of the freezer, so it's still a bit hard. Whether it's breakfast or our other meals, I hope that we can all be grateful for what we've got. Mindful of those who maybe have less and open of how we can help others too. Including at this time during shutdown and people can't necessarily get to the shops. Just be grateful for what we have, but also in the bigger picture, mindful of the world situation, even before Corona and as it will be after, how here in the West we have so much, when of course others don't. I want to read to us today from John 21 about a story about some of Jesus' disciples, Jesus, though they don't realise it to begin with, and breakfast. Let me read it to us now. It's John 21, the first 14 verses. Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, that is Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas called Didymus, who's the twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, that's James and John, and two other disciples were together. I'm going out to fish, Simon Peter told them. And they said, we'll go with you. So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples didn't realise it was Jesus. He called out to them, friends, haven't you any fish? No, they answered. He said, throw your net on the right side of the boat and you'll find some. When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, it's the Lord. As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, it's the Lord, he wrapped his outer garment around him because he'd taken it off, and he jumped into the water. The other disciples, well, they followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish. Though not far from shore, they were about 90 metres away. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals there with fish on it and some bread. And Jesus said to them, bring some of the fish you've just caught. Simon Peter climbed aboard and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, come and have breakfast. None of the disciples dared ask him, who are you? They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread and gave it to them, and he did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. I encourage us all to maybe reread that passage and just take some time to see what strikes us from it. I love this story. You know, it says this is the third time Jesus appeared to them after he raised from the dead. If you think about public relations, you've just been falsely accused, put on a false trial, you've been executed unfairly, but more than that, you've taken the wrongdoing of humanity on yourself, and you've come through the other side and you're alive. When public relations say go and talk to the Jewish council, to Caiaphas and Annas and the others, or go and appear to Pilate as the representative of the Roman Empire, you know, God never does things quite the way necessarily that we think he should. That's why I love this story. This is one of the occasions Jesus is alive. This is life-changing. This is history-changing. that Christ has conquered sin and death. And he meets some of his followers in the middle of a very ordinary scene. They're out fishing and they're 90 meters or so away from the shore, and they don't even realize it's Jesus. And he cries out to them, "Have you caught anything?" And they're like, "No, we haven't." And he calls them to throw the net to the other side. And of course then they start bringing all this fish in. Probably suddenly started triggering memories of other occasions where that had happened, when Jesus had been involved. And I love this, that towards the end of this passage, Jesus says some very simple words. Come and have breakfast. You know, I believe God is able to meet us in the ordinary things of life. Whether it's time when we're having a meal, we're about our work, when we're out walking, whatever it is that we're doing, that God is able to show us things there. Come and have breakfast. Probably make a great sermon sometime. I've never heard one preached on that phrase. But I encourage us all just to reread these words from John 21. And let's see what God shows us. Thanks for watching.